Everyone, and welcome to this roundtable. This is a conversation that is going to be in English because of our foreign guest, Alwin. We have to decide if we wanted this session in German or in English, and he decided to do it in English. So thank you very much. As you know, we don't care because in this country we don't have any problem with languages. So, okay. I think we have a very diverse, profiles in this roundtable. Profiles in terms of experience and knowledge as well. And that's because we are going to drive the conversation between three different blocks of topics, and they are going to introduce themselves because we have not enough time to do long introductions of their profiles. You can search in their social networks, professional social networks, their profiles and experience. You have their names and their occupation in the different companies and institutions where they are. So let's go starting with the different topics and questions that we have prepared before this Congress, okay? So we are going to start for the beginning, which is the correct order, isn't it? Okay. So the fight against climate change is currently one of the greatest challenges at a global level, where digital transformation, as we have heard in this season before, is absolutely key. It's a pillar for to facilitate decarbonization processes. And we have to start at that base, the energy sources that make the decarbonization process possible. It would not be understandable to talk about decarbonization of the industry without opening with renewable energies, and which are, in this field, the technologies, as an AMETIC roundtable, the technologies that are playing a crucial role in generation, transportation, and also storing. As we heard in different rooms yesterday, perhaps we don't have a real problem in producing energy, but just in transportation and also storing. So let's start with that. Where we are at this moment and what can we expect in the mid-term? Catalina, for example, you can start.
Thank you very much, Alejandro. My name is Catalina Bauza. I work at Isemaren, a leading Spanish engineering and consultancy services provider in renewable energy and sustainability. First of all, before starting to answer Alejandro's question, I would like to thank the organizer for having invited Isemaren to participate in this great congress to talk about decarbonization and technologies. So, in accordance with Alejandro's introduction, we cannot talk about decarbonization without talking about renewable energy and sustainability, because it is obvious that decarbonization and renewable energy plays a crucial role in the industry. Also, I would like to, decarbonization means the replacement of fossil fuels with carbon neutral and renewable energy sources. So I'm going to talk about new technologies within the renewable energy. I don't want to talk about solar, wind, self-consumption, because they are already successful solutions, currently very good implemented into the Spanish market. I will focus on new technologies such as storage and green hydrogen. Let's start with the storage technology. We need to understand the importance of the storage solution, because in order to maximize the volume of renewable energy that is going to be integrated into the Spanish electrical grid in a safe, economical, and sustainable conditions. We have also to mention very important issue nowadays, to eliminate the curtailments that the energy production is is having right now and suffering in the Spanish market, especially the solar and wind power producers. And according to the storage, I would like to highlight a very interesting project that my company is leading. It's called Flex Genera Research and Development Project. It is a consortium between Isamaren, Matrix Renewables, and also Ignis. And it consists on an efficient energy storage solution with grid regulation, environmental, cybersecurity, and sustainability. It is located at Ciuden. Ciuden is an institution, is the city of energy, a key institution that depends on the Ministry of Energy of the Spanish government, of the MITECO, and has the objective to become a pioneer in, to be a technological research and development center in Spain regarding to hydrogen and also storage. Let's move to green hydrogen. I would like to talk that, I would like to highlight that since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the role of green hydrogen has played a crucial role in Europe and in Spain, because Russia is the second world largest producer. So the European Union has had to refocus on its supply chain regarding to its energy needs and energy security. And I would like also here to mention as example the green hydrogen project in Portollano, made or developed by Iberdrola, which is 100 megas of solar technology together with 20 megas per hour storage and 20 megas of electrolyzer technology. Iberdrola also has recently been awarded as the best utility in the world in ESG information disclosing and also transparency. So we can be proud of our Spanish companies and our renewable energy industry. Let's talk about challenges and opportunities that we are facing and addressing in Spain according to new technologies within the renewable energy. The main challenges from my point of view is the first one is that we don't have a strong financial and legal framework in order to have successful storage and green hydrogen projects in Spain. The second challenge is that the market conditions are not clear, neither transparent. Such as, for example, we have the case of United Kingdom, which is a successful business case within the storage. Since 2016, the United Kingdom published a strong legal framework and also a strong payment capacity mechanism in order to make this technology profitable. Also, the third challenge is the social opposition in the deployment of renewable energy projects in Spain. Recently we are experiencing, unfortunately, big social opposition and movements, a lot of fake news, and that is Spain cannot afford this kind of things. So we need to work with the society to understand the importance of fighting against the climate change, also global warming, and also to reduce, to achieve the net zero emissions in 2050. Let's talk about the opportunities. The first one is, in Spain we have a very big opportunity in leading the green energy transition in Europe, because we are a country very rich in renewable energy sources such as wind and also wind and solar resources. Also, we have a very strong and powerful renewable energy industry. And not also are the companies powerful, also our people, our professionals. Spain has very well-prestiged professionals, technical experts, and also engineers in the renewable energy that are very well recognized worldwide and also are hired by foreign companies to work abroad in key players, in other key play markets. And so to conclude, to my answer, I would like to mention the main facts to consider in order to create a carbon neutral and also a sustainable future through decarbonization and also deployment of renewable energy. I would like to say that it's not only about technology, it's also about politics, money, and social or general community engagement. So we need more collaboration with the Spanish stakeholders, along together with the general community engagement. And also we need a lot of training, education, capacity building within the sector in order to be aware of the importance to achieve these net zero goals in 2050. So thank you very much. I think I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Maria Eugenia. So Maria Eugenia.
Yeah, I think Maria Eugenia, perhaps you have any things to add in this topic.
Very complete. Just a few things to add. First, to say that I'm coming from Emerson. Emerson is an automation company developing technology, helping to customers in all traditional industry, in oil and gas, refinery. We've been working a long time ago. Now, in our framework, we are just focusing in help to customers in the decarbonization and the sustainability pathway. Okay, so this is the part that I am leading in Europe, how we can help customers on that, okay? So coming to the renewable question, that was just to include some pieces about how technology can help. What is clear is that to make meaningful progress towards net zero targets and considering a long-term evolution of the energy supply, we think we require real scalable and reliable low carbon primary energy sources. And we spoke today in the other table about biomethanes, about hydrogen, also you say, but it's clear that the electrification and the renewable is very important for mainly some companies that are very hard to abate in other way, as you commented about Arcelor or Celsa. So how the two main challenges that we see in renewable is like, and how we can face with technology is first is the scalability and the ability to bring production to the enough capacity to replace the traditional energy sources. So this means that we need a reliable system. We need extend the life cycle of the assets, because we are speaking here about high cost investment in the renewable assets. And very important, we need to think about hybrid systems. When we speak about just one plant of wind, we need maybe to incorporate solar and other sources to make reliable the production. So that is how technology can help to manage efficiently these kind of hybrid systems. For instance, with the digital twin, we can help operators to dynamically model the production of electricity, and then use these models to look for the optimal point to optimize the supply of one or another energy. Okay, so technology can help on that. The second challenge is we speak about scalability, reliable production, but also we need to speak about how to gaining confidence to have anticipation of the demand, and also building an infrastructure to help to wider adoption of the renewable. Because one side can have an excess of production that can be useful for other side, because every company have different patterns of production and consumption. So why not to send this energy, this excess of energy, to other neighbor to use the STs. So this is the microgrid, and how important will be in the energy system with the grid, in the grid supply for a core element for this sustainability. And this is how technology can help on that. It's just what we call the smart grids. The smart grid is not more than just digital technology with real-time data and with software to help to get always the best match between supply and demand in this microgrid between sites. Okay? So this is the two main challenges that we can help with technology and renewable.
I have to say that we have to control the time because that is a countdown, and I've been noticed that I will be punished if we spend more time than the time that we have. So you mentioned administration in your speaking, and I think is one of the topics that we had to talk about in this roundtable. So the administrations really play a role in the path to the decarbonization of our industries, both in laying the foundations of which industries can or should operate. We mentioned it in other rooms and in other roundtables before, and in mobilizing resources and generating opportunities for companies and for the society in general. Okay, there are laws, there are strategies, funds mobilized. There are a lot of expectations in how next generation is going to change the industry and how it can help to decarbonize the industry. So we have seen in the first part of this conversation that there are not mature aspects in the development of new energy sources and the transition from fossil fuels to other green and sustainable resources. So at what point we are in terms of investments and regulation, and I also think our audience would like to know the state of the art in terms of emission compensation rights and carbon offsetting. Maybe you can enlighten us about this. Okay, Irene, go on.
Thank you. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah. Okay.
No, the room. I agree. The room is very noisy.
Yeah.
I have problems to hear them.
So my name is Irene Jubany. I'm a researcher at Eurecat. Eurecat is a research institute in Catalonia, and we work for companies and with companies for the development of the industry and also to help them to be more innovative and to implement new technologies. Regarding the question you mentioned, there is one aspect which is the carbon compensation or the carbon offering. This is some place that we reduce the carbon emissions, the carbon dioxide or the methane or greenhouse emissions to the atmosphere, because in another place in the world there are the need for compensation of what they produce. We all know that there will be a kind of mandatory compensation for some companies, for some sectors and in between countries, but then there is also the voluntary market in which any company or any private person or association can compensate the greenhouse gas emissions that they are produced. For this, there are different projects in which someone can invest or can buy carbon credits, but nowadays it has been on the media that maybe not all these projects really reduce the amount of carbon that they claim that they do. So there is a little bit of controversy on that. It's because of the monitoring of these projects maybe not more, reliable enough or not really well done. And this is, we also see that there is another issue added, is that these compensation projects that are mainly tree planting or renewable energy projects, they are being implemented far away where the emissions are produced. So the companies producing these emissions, they don't see the effect or the impact of this carbon compensation. So in Eurecat, in our research center, we are now developing like a methodology or a strategy to give some local options for this carbon compensation. For example, we are working in the Ebro Delta. There are the rice production is a big industry there. You know that the rice paddies they produce methane. This is in global 10% of the methane produced in the world is due to the rice growing. So there is a lot to do in the management strategies of these agricultural practices, or new agricultural practices, to avoid part of this methane to be produced and released to the atmosphere. We are working on establishing a baseline for this type of agriculture, to develop new methodologies for cultivating the rice, to avoid part of this methane. And this avoidance can be carbon credits. So it's avoidance of methane, which is one of the main greenhouse gas that has this effect. So that's an example of how in the research field we can work on promoting local local strategies or local options for this carbon trade-off. Apart of that, of course, as we said previously, the compensation is the last step of all what we have to do. First one is reduce, avoid the use of fossil fuels or electrification, so the decarbonization of our activities. In this sense, in EURECAT, we also work on that. We have different areas. We work on industrial processes, digitalization, sustainability, and also biotechnology, to help the companies and to work with the companies to have better technology to decarbonize the industry. For example, we work on management of wastes using pyrolysis or gasification, that we can get some syngas or some bio oil that can be used then for energy producing, or we also can develop some catalysts that can be useful for converting the CO2 and hydrogen to fuels or other chemicals, or for example promoting the use of electric cars or electric batteries, no? For the electric cars, for this decarbonization of the society. So I think that maybe it's interesting to highlight that with the research, with working together with the companies, we can go a step further and be faster to reach this decarbonization.
No, okay. Alwin, perhaps you can also present the perspective from German company.
Gracias, me llamo Alvin. Gracias por la invitación. And that I have to we can speak in English here. So my background is computer science, and my company Xitaso, we are a software engineering, software service company located in Germany, but we have also offices here in Spain. And we think on regulation and digitalization, then we have to go on a European perspective. And coming with the European Green Deal, there are a lot of regulatory acts coming, which are there for monitoring sustainability, product carbon footprint, or carbon CO2 emissions. And every company sooner or later has to do these regulations and has to do reporting on CO2 emissions. And not only in-house CO2 emissions, but also with your suppliers and along the whole supply chain. And if we see at the moment in the European funding, there are a lot of projects going on with starting to develop concepts for doing this digitalization, for driving digital product passports. And from our point of view, from digitalization point of view, I think it makes sense that you not only comply to regulations, but that you try to prepare yourself for a more digitalized production, and try to also find your kind of business cases in doing all the digitalization, not only to complying to regulations, but to also try to find a way to make money out of this. And I think at the moment it's a good starting point to start with a digital strategy and think how we can use the regulation to get further and get some advantage over the competitors.
Okay. So let's go and try to finish this conversation with perhaps the most linked topic with the activity of Ametic and you know the way we wanted to finish this conversation, which is digitalization. Okay. And after that, I will try to ask you a conclusion for this conversation, maybe 1-2 key message for the audience. Let's start with digitalization, and in Spain we have the law 7/2021 of May, in which the digitalization is absolutely key in the process of decarbonization, not because we want it, because we know it's absolutely strategic, but because also the administration know that in the project of net zero or decarbonization of the industry, the digitalization they mentioned before is absolutely key, or the process you mentioned also in your previous speech. So there are a lot of strategies, a lot of papers saying that digitalization is key, but really sometimes we leave the digitalization to the last part of, how to say, the real strategy of the process and in the change of the industry. So what are the challenges and the opportunities that we face in the process of digitalization of the industry to this process of decarbonization from your experience? Because we are in a round table not only with a high knowledge in the theoretical side, but also in the practical one. So I would like you, for example, to talk about your experience in the challenges of digitalization, the projects where you are and the companies where you are with.
Yes, as you say, and we commented yesterday also, Telefónica CEO said that the digitalization is the key part, is come together and not in a separate way with the decarbonization strategy. Well, the challenge that we can see when we start speaking to a customer about decarbonization or sustainability projects or initiatives, we see challenge in 3 phases. First is the planning. Second is the operation, and then the last one is maintenance and life cycle, right? So when we speak about design first, is the moment to make decisions, and for that, digitalization can help to increase the certainty of achieving benefits or the business or operational targets of the project. When we are speaking here about feasibility or pre-feasibility concept in the project, okay? The way that is with using a scenario-based model simulation, that is not more that running different simulations to predict the future performance of the overall plant and then have analysis of the total alert and risk. So in this way we reduce the risk, so the future costs also to face this risk, okay, of the plant. But we are speaking here not just in the greenfield projects when we are facing a new hydrogen plant or a new greenfield plant. Also when we speak with a customer about what is the best solutions to reduce emissions in the plant, there is a big uncertainty to what tackle first. So also with the running this kind of simulation of the life cycle and taking and looking the impact of the different events that can happen, we can also create what we call marginal abatement curves that give an idea of what are, considering the cost of the implementation and the technology to implement the reduction of the CO2, an idea of what in how way to rank the list of CO2 initiatives to bring benefit before considering also the net present value. So this is in planning stage, so how we can help to make better decisions before we start the project. The second is with operation, and we speak of operation, we speak about data. We spoke a lot about data always when we speak about digitalization, right? It's the sensing, measurement. It's a long time ago that the companies as as it does also for sure, and Emerson is speaking about, for instance, wireless technology, because wireless is helping to maximize the measure points and to have more measurement of CO2 methane emissions. Okay, with more data, we will be able to know better what is happening in the plant and take better or tighter control in our decisions. But what about if also we can have all these measurement points in a unique platform, visible for all the levels of the company, and also maybe even to report all these measurements through this digital platform to emissions management trading system that we also spoke that is so important, or even online transmission with technology as continuous emissions monitoring system. Okay, that is some global, some local governments are requiring. So this is operation and how we can help measurement. And then the last one is in the maintenance, and then we know next step of digitalization is with the analysis, with the machine learning, and just the derivative of an artificial intelligence of what to do with all this data, and the insights that we can bring to take better decisions, to prevent maintenance, and then maybe avoid unexpected shutdowns. And we spoke also about energy, that is so important, the energy management, and with the digitalization also we can help, because just 1/3 of the energy that we put in the system is real use for the real use, the rest is lost. So get optimal points of the combustion processes with the, also commented before by Celsa, with between fuel and oxygen, and then reduce the amount of fuel or reduce the amount of air in the compressor. This is also something that can help the modelization of the products with software. Okay, so this is energy management that is very, very important piece also in the sustainability and decarbonization.
Alwin, you have been mentioned.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, digitalization is nothing which directly helps you to reduce the CO2 emissions. It helps you to optimize your production, your energy consumption, or to also track your CO2 emissions. And I mean, that's, I think, one of the greatest challenges too. I mean, it's not only that you track it in your house, you need really to go and do it on the complete supply chain, and not only in your sector, but also in other industry sectors. And I think being here interoperable will be the key challenge, because, I mean, if you go to the CO2 emissions, then scope 1, scope 2 emissions, that's the thing which you have can handle it. But for the scope 3 emissions, especially the upstream emissions, you need information from your suppliers. But I think it's feasible. I mean, we did a showcase for the German platform Industry 4.0 together with also some not only German companies but American companies too, General Electric, Microsoft, Siemens, SAP, only to mention a few. And we showed it in the Hannover Messe this year. And of course, I mean, it's a showcase. So we had a toy example of an aluminium pen. And so we started really with the aluminium material, getting the CO2 emissions, then the complete turning process, also the logistic process, up to the last process which we did directly on the fair, which was a laser engraving to print on a data matrix code, to identify the product, and to get a digital product passport based on the asset administration shell, and also to personalize your pen. And the thing is, then when you go on the digital product passport, you see the complete supply chain, starting in the US with the aluminium process deliverable, then with the turning process, your complete product journey until the fair here in Hannover. And it shows that it is possible, and not only possible in one company, but also in different companies. And I think that's one key thing we have to do, and which will be done also. I mean, in Germany, at least, the automotive companies, they started to build up some automotive database called Catena X, which is based on some of the Gaia X technologies or ideas of federated services and data sovereignty. And I mean, they want to, they started as a research project, and now they have a operations company there, and they will roll it out. And I mean, it's Volkswagen, it's BMW, it's Mercedes-Benz. So I think it will influence the whole of Europe in the automotive industry. And when we look into, I mean, the same you can find on the European Union level projects. And so when I go back to the German perspective, then we are having at the moment this big Manufacturing X initiatives, which tries to bring the idea of Catena X, the data sharing with data sovereignty and interoperable standards to different manufacturing businesses, and they're the big players in the German machinery machinery business are in there. So I think there are some initiatives which will change, I think, the idea we think about data sharing, and especially monitoring our CO2 emissions, monitoring also the materials which are in our products, to really go into a more circular economy and trying to back this with data, digital data. And as I said before, I think it's now a good point in time where youth should think about what is my digital strategy, because only getting the market pressure and getting regulatory pressure is not a good idea. As Maria said, I mean, it starts in the engineering phase, and I mean, you can think about getting or creating services which help your customers to simulate processes and show how your products can be more sustainable in operations already in the engineering phase. Or you can get in the operations, you can supply more data which make it, for example, for more sustainable and less, more sustainable production with less waste. So you have possibilities to think new ways and new business models. And I think this combination, I think this helps us to really use digitalization as a good key to drive decarbonization in the European economies.
Okay, thank you very much. We need these 2 minutes just to conclude and to receive a strong applaud. So 2 key ideas to conclude. Maria Eugenia?
Yeah, for my side, I think that is the only way to embrace sustainability is with innovation, technology, and also with collaboration, as we comment. For instance, Emerson and Citaso are collaborating in Germany in the discrete automation business. So these kind of things need to be happening.
Okay.
Yes.
Eurocat, Irene?
Yeah, it's a similar idea. Let's collaborate for a better decarbonization. Let's collaborate among industries, among sectors, and also industry and the research institutes that have the talent, we have installations, so we have ideas. So we and you already know that collaboratively it's better.
Right. Catalina?
I totally agree with my colleagues, and I would like to add that to create a carbon neutral and sustainable future through decarbonization and renewable energy, it's not only about technology, it's also about politics, money, and social acceptance.
Alwin, to conclude.
Thank you. As my colleague said here, I think collaboration is really a key, because I mean, CO2 and waste doesn't only appear in your company, it appears all over, and we have to work together to minimize. And I think the European Union, we have high goals here in really change industry in the future and show the world how decarbonization can look like. And I think we have to take it serious and use the technologies we have and work together and make the best out of it.
Okay, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure for me and an honor. Thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for the noise.
Thank you.
Thank you.